Illusory. Hello everyone. Whenever people talk about tourist paradises or dreamlike islands, the Maldives is always one of the first destinations that comes to mind whenever people talk about tropical paradises. The Maldives is a familiar destination, frequently featured in famous films and ubiquitous across social media platforms. Even travel groups specializing in beaches with long stretches of white sand, the crystal-clear turquoise seawater and the vibrant, diverse coral reefs. It has captured the hearts of millions of travel enthusiasts worldwide, with a diverse range of water sports activities. Simultaneously, this is also a premier resort destination, a dream paradise for everyone. So where is the country of Maldives located on the world map? The Maldives is a sovereign Islamic nation, commonly known as the Republic of Maldives. This nation is situated in splendid isolation amidst the vast Indian Ocean. North of Kela Island, the Maldives archipelago is located about 730 kilometers west of Sri Lanka, and about 430 kilometers southwest of the Indian mainland, with an area of just 298 square kilometers. That area isn't even half the size of Singapore. The Maldives is the smallest country in Asia by land area. It is also one of the 10 smallest countries in the world by area. This country lies on two submarine mountain ranges, just above the equator. This area comprises nearly 1,200 islands of various sizes, most of which are coral islands. The paragraph is formed from 26 separate islands and natural atolls, along a length of approximately 870 kilometers, with a current population of approximately 397,000 people. The majority of the indigenous population here are Indo-Aryan people. At first glance, I thought he was from India or Sri Lanka. And Divehi is recognized as the official language of the Maldives, after a long period of Buddhism holding the dominant position in the Maldives. About 1,400 years. By the middle of the 12th century, the majority of the population lives on this island nation, including both the king and his officials. He decided to leave Buddhism to convert to Islam. This can be explained by its incredibly powerful influence from Arab merchants operating in the Indian Ocean region. By 2008, after the constitution was amended, here, adherence to Islamic teachings is a mandatory obligation under the law. To all citizens of the Maldives, when addressing issues for which the constitution and the laws do not yet have specific provisions, all judges must base their considerations and rulings on the traditional Islamic Sharia code. Among the islands of the Maldives archipelago, only a few are inhabited. Most of these areas have mosques. These churches are primarily whitewashed buildings, and was built with coral stone, while the roof was covered with corrugated iron or thatch. One of the most prominent of these structures is the Malafride Mosque, also known as the Sixth Ancient Mosque. This is one of the oldest mosques with a long history, and this is also the most elaborately decorated place in the city of Malo. Construction of this project commenced in 1648 and was officially completed in 1658. The Chipuridi coral rocks are found scattered throughout the archipelago. This material is the fundamental component used to construct this mosque. Just like other mosques across the country, although coral rock is quite soft when wet, it becomes extremely sturdy when dry. From an artistic and structural engineering perspective, this is considered one of the world's most beautiful buildings made of coral stone. Therefore, in 2008, the Sixth Ancient Mosque has been included on the tentative list for UNESCO World Heritage status. Outstanding examples of unique maritime cultural architecture. Nicknamed the flattest country on Earth, the Maldives' terrain consists mostly of plains. This stems from the country's relatively high average elevation. It only fluctuates between 1.5 and just under 2 meters above sea level. This issue concerns a maritime area, similarly to elevating the status of the world's flattest country. Therefore, this is the country with the flattest terrain in the world. Maldives, the country with the flattest terrain in the world. And the entire nation rose up. A nation rising to its full stature. A nation rising to its full potential. A nation rising to its full stature. A nation rising to its full potential. It only fluctuates between 1.5 meters and 2 meters above sea level. This issue is protracted and complex, much like a winding, hard-to-define border on a map. The Maldives lies like a delicate silk ribbon draped across the vast ocean. But the situation is not much different from other island nations in the South Pacific. This small island nation is now facing immense challenges due to the current state of climate change. It is at risk of sinking permanently to the ocean depths. Based on scientific evidence, the Maldives archipelago was formed on an ancient underwater mountain range, and the islands we see today. This can be considered the highest peak among those volcanic ranges. This is similar to the case of the Hoang Sa and Trong Sa archipelagos, which belong to Vietnam's sovereignty. Since the majority of these coral forms have a ring-shaped structure, surrounded by a saltwater lagoon, the deep rows form natural pathways. Therefore, this place becomes a living environment and a sanctuary for many marine species and unique coral reefs. These coral reefs also act as a shield protecting the coastline, to protect the islands from the impact of sea waves and erosion. Each atoll in the Maldives archipelago, typically, the number of islands can range from 20 to hundreds. Most of these islands have a rather modest area, ranging from 0.2 to 1 square kilometer, and each of those types only has about 5 to 10 inhabited islands. However, the islands located on the rim of this coral ring. These coral reefs are located in relatively shallow areas and are large in scale. From a few square kilometers to several tens of square kilometers. An island nation located near the equator. Therefore, the Maldives boasts incredibly diverse habitats, including deep-sea ecosystems, coastal waters, and coral reefs. Coastal mangrove forests are wetland areas, and the vast stretches of endless sand. Approximately 187 coral species have collectively created incredibly unique coral reef formations. In this area of the Indian Ocean alone, more than 1,100 species of fish have been recorded. 400 species of mollusks and 83 species of echinoderms, such as starfish, sea cucumbers, sea lilies, and so on. This area is also home to approximately 120 species of arthropod crustaceans, 15 amphibian species, along with more than 145 crab species and nearly 50 shrimp species. Generally, the Maldives has a tropical monsoon climate. This region has two main seasons that govern its climate, with the dry season coinciding with the period of the northeast monsoon. During the rainy season, the southwest monsoon often brings strong winds and storms. Simultaneously, this event also takes place over an extended period, lasting from April all the way through December. Along with that, the average annual rainfall reaches 1,901 millimeters. However, high temperatures are maintained year-round, fluctuating between 24 and 33 degrees Celsius. Therefore, this top South Asian travel destination continues to attract a large number of visitors, especially tourists from North America and Europe. This island nation was once one of the poorest countries in the world during the 1970s, when the economy was almost entirely dependent on fishing activities. However, since the sweeping reforms were implemented in the 1980s, such as removing import quotas and creating opportunities for the private sector, the Maldives economy has achieved remarkable development. With tourism being the spearhead economic sector, it provides the primary source of revenue for this country. At the same time, it also creates countless jobs and opens up income opportunities for numerous other professions. Approximately 90% of the tax revenue of the island nation is generated from private hotels and resorts. On average, approximately 1.5 million tourists visit the temple each year. The remaining percentage of revenue comes from fishing activities and the development of the handicraft industry, such as straight weaving, producing products from coconut silk, cotton wool, etc. As a country heavily reliant on tourism, Thailand was severely impacted when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out globally. The Maldives has found itself in an extremely difficult situation to salvage the economy, especially while many other tourist destinations around the world remain closed. As of July 2020, the Maldives has officially reopened to international tourists without imposing any travel restrictions. Of course, adherence to pandemic prevention measures remains mandatory. Therefore, the GDP of the Maldives in 2022 reached a record high of approximately $5.9 billion United States dollars. This demonstrates that the Maldives is making a strong comeback after a period of struggle due to the pandemic. This country's GDP per capita is approximately $14,861. This figure is significantly higher than in other South Asian countries. Due to the terrain-specific characteristics, this area does not have suitable conditions for developing crop cultivation. Most essential goods must be imported from abroad. Therefore, the cost of living in the Maldives is generally considered to be quite expensive. A family of 4 would need to spend an average of about $4,323 USD per month. According to statistics from Expartisan, the cost of living in the Maldives is 57% higher than in Vietnam. In the Maldives, visitors can experience all the quintessential tourist activities. From simple experiences like swimming in the ocean to exploring the traditional fishing practices of local fishermen. Watch the sunset from a bridge, dive to see the coral, or even swim with domesticated sharks. Even more luxurious experiences, such as flying on a seaplane to admire the Maldives from above. Enjoy dinner at restaurants built deep beneath the ocean. However, because the islands are isolated and scattered across a vast area, traveling between the islands is quite difficult. In the Maldives, there are 3 main modes of transportation: domestic flights, seaplanes, and boats. However, domestic air travel can sometimes be quite inconvenient, because it only connects areas with similar levels of public intellectual standards. Meanwhile, tickets for speedboats and ferries are also quite expensive. Boats and ferries are the 2 primary means of transportation in this area. Although it is slower than other means of transport, it is inexpensive and quite convenient. You can also experience a traditional Maldivian boat, known as a dhani. Among the 26 natural atolls and isolated oceanic islands in the Maldives, the northern Malo Reef is one of the most famous coral reefs, and is also the location of the capital, Malo, a space completely separate from the luxurious resorts. Means. Since ancient times, the people living in the Maldives archipelago have been entirely dependent on nature. There was no fresh water, nor was there any land to cultivate. They lived entirely dependent on the sea and the rainwater. The sea provided them with fish, especially tuna. People used tuna color as a beverage. Currently, the capital Malé is the most populous city in the Republic of Maldives, and is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. With a population of approximately 253,000 people and an area of 9.27 square kilometers, this is one of the most densely populated areas. Geographically, the city is located on the southern part of the North Malo Coral Reef. Administratively, the city is composed of a central island and 5 surrounding islets, including the islands of Huvumalo, Hahule, Malo, Villamalo, Kuhifau, and Tilafushi. Other than Malo and Villamalo, the remaining islands have mostly been significantly silted up and expanded compared to their original area. To facilitate commercial activities and address the issue of overly rapid population growth in the capital. Crowded, cramped, and suffocating. That is what is happening on the central island of Malo. It covers a mere 1.95 square kilometers, yet its population has reached a staggering 110,000 people. That means each person has only 18 square meters of living space. Just imagine, on this island, there are absolutely no roads or any public spaces whatsoever. Everything was built into rooms. Each person only needs to be in an 18 square meters room to completely fill the entire island. Due to its compact size and small footprint, the motorcycle is the primary means of transportation here. However, the pace of urbanization in the center of this island is still occurring extremely rapidly, with a series of modern architectural structures continuously rising up. To the north of Malé Island lies the central seaport of the Maldives, which also serves as the commercial hub for all trade activities of this island nation. Currently, this port has become a vital component of the 21st century maritime Silk Road. The route runs from the coast of China, through the Suez Canal, and then to the Mediterranean Sea. When you come here, don't miss the chance to visit the Maldives National Museum. An exciting experience for travelers passionate about exploring the culture and history of this island nation. Since the Republic was established in 1952, this was also the period when the Maldives National Museum was constructed. This is the only remaining structure from the former Sultan Palace. And countless artifacts from the era of the Maldivian monarchy are still perfectly preserved to this day, like jewelry, accessories, or clothing, and ancient artworks dating back to the time when Islam was introduced to the country. Besides the National Museum, The Grand Friday Mosque is also an extremely famous tourist attraction in the city. Here are some ways to rewrite it to be more natural and clear. And this official name was given after one of the most illustrious heroes in Maldivian history. That is Muhammad Thaqadu Fanu al-Alzam, from the south. Completed in 1984, this project received financial support from the Gulf nations of Pakistan, Malaysia, and Brunei. The Grand Friday Mosque is also one of the largest mosques in the South Asian region. And this is my second time in the Maldives, after visiting the Grand Friday Mosque, which can hold up to 5,000 worshippers. What immediately impresses visitors upon their first glimpse of this church is the simple yet sophisticated beauty of its marble structure. There is almost no decoration. A brilliant golden dome stands out against the plain white background. Inside the church, the space is decorated with incredibly impressive ancient paintings and Arabic calligraphy. The outstanding development of Malo Island has consequently driven the development of Huhu Malo Island. In 2001, the total area of this island was only just over 1 square kilometer. However, from 2001 to the present, it has undergone a period of significant volatility and continuous expansion. The area of Hoo Teep Lake, Ho Hoo Teep, has increased nearly fourfold, reaching over 3.9 square kilometers. The renovation of this island is an urgent task. To meet the growing population, the demand for housing and the development of commercial and industrial zones is also increasing significantly, as well as the risk of being submerged by rising sea levels. Therefore, this island can also be considered a prime example of the transformation occurring across the Maldives archipelago. If you arrive in the Maldives capital by air, Hulhumalay Island will be your first stop. This is an island that also serves as an administrative division of the capital city Malé, with no permanent residents. This is also the location of Vilena International Airport, one of the 4 international aviation gateways to the island nation. Before 2016, Vilena Airport had only a single runway. The southeastern area of Huhu Malo Island remains largely underwater coral reefs. From 2017 to the present, it has been completely separated from the central island of Malo. Vilena Airport has been expanded eastward with the commissioning of a new and modern runway. This consequently led to the southeastern part of the island becoming significantly more developed. In addition to a new road section, this area has also been supplemented with aircraft parking aprons, factories and other auxiliary facilities. In 2018, the iconic bridge of the island nation of the Maldives was also completed to facilitate travel between the central island and the airport, replacing the previous necessity of traveling by boat. Leaving the capital Malo, you can travel approximately 195 kilometers north to reach Vadu Island. This place is renowned for its shimmering, glowing beach, resembling a giant mirror reflecting the star-filled sky. Every time the tide rises, the waves crash onto the shore, carrying countless shimmering, glittering specks of light. Here are some ways to rewrite it to sound more natural and clear. According to scientists, these bright spots are formed by a species of plankton called Noctiluca scintillans. This species of jellyfish has the ability to produce light as a defense mechanism when it senses external stimuli. Visitors cannot help but be amazed when witnessing the miraculous spectacle of nature with their own eyes. Especially, you can perform the magic yourself by gently stirring the water with your hand and observing the surface light up with every movement. Surrounded by the vast ocean, the Maldives is a tourist paradise, boasting countless impressive architectural works that never fail to captivate and amaze visitors. One of these remarkable structures is the Isha Underwater Restaurant, which officially opened in 2005. This is part of the Conrad Maldives Rangali Island Resort. Isha, also known locally as Saku, is the world's first underwater restaurant. Located 5 meters deep on the seafloor of a marine channel, this restaurant is part of the Conrad Maldives Rangali Island Resort, approximately 100 kilometers southeast of the capital city, Malé. The restaurant has an area of approximately 54 square meters and a seating capacity of about 14. The construction primarily uses acrylic, a type of wood-plastic composite material with the scientific name polymethyl metacrylate. This allows diners to enjoy their meal while observing the vibrant Quan Jing of the ocean, teeming with myriad marine creatures swimming around them. From the outside, the eyesore resembles a colossal glass tube standing imposingly amidst the vast ocean. Fortress walls, Surrounded by the sea on all sides, the Maldives is one of the countries most severely affected by climate change. In 1998, the El Niño phenomenon caused sea temperatures to rise by up to 5 degrees Celsius, triggering coral bleaching and killing approximately 2/3 of the Maldives' coral reefs. In an effort to restore and regenerate coral reefs, scientists have placed electrified metal frames at depths ranging from 6 to 18 meters below the water's surface. The purpose of this is to create a substrate, providing coral larvae with a stable surface to attach to and grow. By 2004, the coral reefs had begun to regenerate. Scientists also reported that the coral reefs treated with electrical currents grew 5 times faster than ordinary coral. However, in 2016, the coral reefs in the Maldives suffered another severe bleaching event. Around some islands,